Welcome to Verse Breakdown. My name is Ewaenruwa, and the verse for today is Matthew chapter 10, verse 36, where Jesus Christ said, "And a man's foes shall be they of his own household." Jesus Christ was quoting Micah the prophet in Micah chapter 7, verse 6, and what he meant by this is people who are close to us, those who you'd expect to support you, who you'd expect to love you and work to your best benefit, will see your talents and gifts and maybe righteousness too as a threat. They won't see it as something God has blessed you with, something that they should help to improve. No, they see it as a threat to their own glory. So they want to cut that down. And if you are in sorrow, then they will want to make that burden worse for you. They want you to really feel the sorrow. They want to be a part of it rather than a blessing. And he was saying this out of experience because he himself had siblings. He had brothers in particular who envied him. They didn't like him and the fact that he was the Son of God and he had special gifts and talents and all of that. In John chapter 7 from verses 1 to 5, they were like, "Jesus, why don't you go to the Feast of Tabernacles where you can show all your wonderful gifts and talents that you have? You love to show people that you're everything, so why don't you go to the Feast of Tabernacles and do that?" They were saying that out of envy, and that's common in siblings or in friends and relatives and so on. When you have people who are close to you, it's very common for them to envy your talents instead of rejoice for them and help you to use them to maybe make an income stream or whatever it is you want to do with it. They would rather envy you and try to bring that down. And if you look at other places in the Bible, you can see that that's common among siblings. That was what Jesus Christ was talking about. If you look at Joseph, he had 11 brothers and they wanted to end his life. They didn't want him to succeed and for those dreams that he was talking about to fulfill because they were against their own will. In Genesis chapter 37 from verses 3 to 32. You'd expect that brothers and sisters and people close to you like that should act as if they're close to you by helping you, but no, sometimes they can do the exact opposite. David experienced similar things too. His own son Absalom wanted to kill him, and Ahithophel, his personal counselor and advisor, was on Absalom's side. So people who he expected to be close to, well, he wasn't really that close to them because they were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. And David expressed how he felt about this in Psalms chapter 55 in verses 12 and 13, where he said, "For it was not an enemy that reproached me, then I could have borne it. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. But it was thou, a man mine equal, my guide, and mine acquaintance." Of course, we cannot forget Job, who went through a lot of suffering from Satan the devil, of course, and his family members only added to all that pain. For example, his wife had advised him to curse God and die in Job chapter 2 verse 10, and his friends had added burdens to the fact that he was suffering by making him feel like he was wicked and he deserved that. And God was angry at them for doing this in Job chapter 42 in verses 6 and 7. But to really understand how Job felt about how people who were supposed to be close to him were now acting as enemies and foes to him, we should look at Job chapter 19 from verses 15 to 19, where Job said sorrowfully, "They that dwell in my house and my maids count me for a stranger. I am an alien in their sight. I called my servant, and he gave me no answer. I entreated him with my mouth. My breath is strange to my wife, though I entreated for the children's sake of mine own body. Yea, young children despise me. I arose, and they spake against me. All my inward friends abhorred me, and them whom I loved are turned against me." He expressed feelings of sadness and sorrow because in his household, everybody was turning against him. They were not acting as people who are close to him, people who are supposed to be helping him. They were doing the opposite. And if we have siblings or others close to us, we shouldn't make life harder for them when they're suffering or when they're succeeding, wanting to bring them down. We should help them, rejoice for them, and if they're suffering, try to be that kind of person. Be empathetic. Help them get out of their suffering. And St. Paul advised us to do so in Romans chapter 12, verse 15, where he said, "Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep." See also 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 26. We should be a blessing to people, not a curse. We should help people overcome their suffering so that they may bless us in the end. They may remember us. And in the end, God, who not only does the same thing, but loves when people do that, will, of course, bless us for doing so, because he does not forget such things. If you read Hebrews chapter 6, verse 10. And that is where I want to stop on discussing that verse, Matthew chapter 10, verse 36, which once again reads, "And a man's foes shall be they of his own household." If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. God bless you.